Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, collectors around the world whisper about it as one of the most fascinating modern British coins ever struck. The Elizabeth II 2 pence 1997. On HD Ultra Rare Coins, we journey into the hidden story of this small, ordinary-looking coin that holds an extraordinary place in numismatic history. The year 1997 itself was emotional, historic, and unforgettable for the United Kingdom. It was the year after major royal changes, a year when Britain stood between tradition and modern transformation. The Royal Mint, located in Llantrisant, Wales, continued its daily production, striking millions of coins for circulation across the country. Among them were the familiar 2 pence coins, used by school children, shopkeepers, bus drivers, and everyday citizens. No one paid attention to differences. To most people, a coin was just a coin. But hidden inside that massive production run was a very small number of coins that would later shock the world. The Elizabeth II 2 pence coin of 1997 carried the classic and respectful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. This portrait was created by Raphael Maklauf, introduced in 1985, and used until 1997 itself. It shows the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, a symbol of continuity, stability, and royal heritage. Every delicate detail, from her calm expression to the tiny jewels on the crown, reflects the craftsmanship of Britain's historic minting traditions. Surrounding her portrait are the Latin words, Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor. These words mean, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. It is not just a title, it is a centuries-old declaration of monarchy and national identity. The edges of the letters, the clarity of the inscription, and the smoothness of the relief all show how carefully these coins were designed. Now turning to the reverse side, this is where the magic truly begins. The reverse of the 2 pence coin shows the Prince of Wales' feathers, crowned and surrounded by a simplified Tudor crown design and the words, 2 pence. Above it sits the date, 1997. The design goes back to the original decimalization of British coinage in 1971, created by Christopher Ironside. It is instantly recognizable to anyone who has lived in or visited Britain. But in 1997, something subtle and mysterious occurred. A very small batch of 2 pence coins was struck with an unusual die variation. These variations were so minor that ordinary people couldn't notice them, but serious collectors and sharp-eyed experts eventually started seeing the difference. These rare variants included differences in the thickness of lettering, spacing between the date and the design, and tiny die alignment shifts that shouldn't have happened under normal minting conditions. Even more fascinating was the existence of a few experimental and transitional strikes during that year. The Royal Mint was preparing for future design and tooling updates, and during this process, a handful of pieces were minted using modified dies or trial setups. These coins accidentally entered circulation instead of being destroyed or archived. That is how legends are born. Imagine a teenager in 1997 buying a chocolate bar with a 2 pence coin, completely unaware that in his hand might be a treasure of unimaginable value. These coins moved from pocket to pocket, wallet to wallet, lost in drawers, forgotten in jars, thrown into collections without anyone realizing their true significance. They slept quietly for years. It wasn't until the early 2010s that researchers and private collectors started documenting unusual examples of the 1997 2 pence coin. Under magnification, the unusual features became clear. Slight misalignments, rare die marks, and unusual surface textures started to separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. But what truly pushed the coin into legendary status was a unique mint-era variety discovered in near-perfect condition. This particular coin was found in a sealed bag of original Royal Mint rolls by a collector who specialized in modern British eras. When examined by professional graders, it revealed an extremely rare off-center strike combined with a die clash and misaligned collar error. This means the blank coin wasn't perfectly seated inside the minting machine when struck, resulting in an irregular border and shifted design. Normally such coins are immediately rejected at the mint. But somehow, this one survived. The coin was then sent to a top grading service, where it received an extremely high grade due to its untouched luster and remarkable preservation. This alone increased its value to thousands of pounds. But what happened next is where the story enters a completely different level. When images of this coin were shared in private collector circles, experts started noticing another almost invisible detail: a microscopic die crack in a very specific location that matched a known, but extremely limited, test die supposedly used only within Royal Mint experiments that year. According to internal historical research, that particular die was believed to have been destroyed after just a short production test. But here it was a living piece of minting history. This transformed the coin from just a rare error into a historical artifact. Collectors from the United Kingdom, the United States, Europe, and even Asia started showing interest. Bidding wars began in private coin forums. Offers came from auction houses. Elite collectors wanted it for their modern British coin collections. To them, this coin was not just money, it was a bridge between official minting history and accidental rarity. And it wasn't just one coin. A handful of similar 1997 2-pence coins with related features have surfaced over time. Each one has slight variations, making them unique. Some show different die crack patterns. Some display unusual spacing in the lettering of 2 pence. Others have a modified feather detail that doesn't perfectly match the standard production dies. This is what makes the 1997 issue so fascinating. It wasn't supposed to be special. Yet today, it is one of the most talked about modern 2-pence coins. The collector appeal is incredibly strong because this coin represents a moment in time. It marks the final year of Raphael Makhloff's portrait on circulating coinage before Ian Rank Broadley's new design took over in 1998. So the 1997 2-pence also carries the emotional weight of transition. Top 2. We're traveling into the fascinating world of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence 2008, a tiny piece of metal that holds within it history, artistry, mystery, and a surprising secret that has stunned collectors around the world. Imagine the year 2008. The world was in the middle of economic uncertainty. Markets were shaking, people were anxious, and history was being shaped in unpredictable ways. Meanwhile, inside the legendary Royal Mint, something much quieter but just as significant was happening. Millions of coins were being struck, each one meant for daily circulation, from vending machines to change at supermarkets. Among them was the 2-pence coin, often ignored, often overlooked, yet carrying a deep-rooted legacy that goes back centuries in British monetary history. The 2-pence coin is a symbol of continuity in British coinage. Its design connects modern Britain with its rich past, bridging generations through art, metal, and monarchy. In 2008, the design of British coins had recently undergone a historic transformation, making this particular year even more special for collectors. The reverse design was part of Matthew Dent's revolutionary shield design, where each denomination displayed a piece of the royal shield. When all the coins from 1p to £1 were placed together, they formed a complete image of the United Kingdom's royal arms. The 2-pence coin held a unique section of this shield, representing strength, unity, and heritage. This wasn't just a decorative change. It was a bold statement about how modern Britain honors its traditions while moving forward into the future. The design was not only visually striking but symbolically powerful. On the obverse side, we see the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait captures the Queen with realism and dignity, showing her older and wiser, reflecting decades of service and leadership. Around her image, the familiar inscription identifies her as the monarch, reinforcing her role as a living bridge between history and the modern era. Now, let's talk about the metal itself. The 2008 2-pence coin is made from copper-plated steel, a change that had taken place a few years earlier due to rising copper costs. While it may look like traditional bronze, its inner core tells a story of economic evolution and practicality. This small detail matters greatly to collectors, especially when identifying mint variations and rare errors. Because here's where the magic begins. Among the millions of 2-pence coins struck in 2008, not all of them were created equal. Some had minting flaws. Some had alignment issues. Others had slight variations in the design, spacing, or striking pressure. And then, there are those extremely rare pieces that slip through quality control with exceptional errors. Collectors live for these anomalies. A rotated die. An off-center strike. A double-struck edge. Missing elements. These errors turn an ordinary coin worth 2 pence into a legendary artifact. And in 2008, a small number of these error coins made their way into circulation before anyone realized what had happened. Imagine someone receiving one of these coins as change on a rainy afternoon in London. They slip it into their pocket without thinking. Years later, while cleaning out an old drawer or sorting through spare change, they notice something unusual. A misaligned shield. A strange gap. A faint doubling in the Queen's portrait. And that's when curiosity sparks. They take it to a coin dealer. The dealer's eyes widen. The coin goes under a magnifying glass. Then to an expert. Then to a grading service. Then suddenly, a 2-pence coin becomes the center of attention. This is what makes coin collecting so captivating. It's not just about metal and money. It's about discovery. About hidden value. About history whispering through objects that most people overlook. The 2008 2-pence coin gained even more attention because of the new shield design. Collectors around the world started searching for perfectly struck examples, error pieces, and low-quality mint runs that made certain coins rarer than others. And when rumors of a rare 2008 era variety started emerging in private collections and auctions, excitement exploded. Some collectors believe that a limited number of coins were struck with a misalignment so unique, so precise, that it instantly separated them from all others. Others claim a rare batch left the mint with a subtle die crack that formed a tiny, almost invisible line across part of the design, something only visible under specific lighting. These tiny flaws, once considered mistakes, become priceless signatures. They turn ordinary coins into one-of-a-kind stories. For collectors, the value isn't only in money. It's in the journey. The hunt. The moment when you find something rare in your own hands. The connection you feel to history. To the mint workers who struck the coin. To the era it was born in. To the Queen whose portrait it carries. On HD ultra rare coins, we celebrate that connection. Because every coin has a story. But some stories are bigger than others. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence 2008 is one of those stories. It represents a moment in time when British coin design evolved. It represents a monarch whose reign spanned generations. It represents an economy shifting materials and methods. It represents collectors around the world united by a shared passion. And finally, it represents one of those shocking moments in numismatic history where a small, overlooked object suddenly becomes the center of global attention. Recently, a rare era version of this exact coin, preserved in near-perfect condition, authenticated by leading numismatic authorities, and linked to a unique minting anomaly, surfaced through a private collector network. The bidding war that followed shocked everyone. Collectors from Europe, Asia, and America competed fiercely for ownership of this tiny piece of history. Top 3, where forgotten metal turns into priceless treasure. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence 1996 coin was once just part of everyday life. It clinked in school pockets, rolled across kitchen tables, and sat quietly in wallets. Millions of people used it for bus fares, candy, newspapers, and small daily purchases, never knowing that among them existed a version so rare, so special, that collectors now spend years trying to find it. 1996 was a unique year in British history. The country was stepping into a new era of technology, music, and political change. Britpop dominated radios, the internet was entering homes, and Queen Elizabeth II had already been on the throne for over 4 decades. With her calm, steady presence, she had witnessed wars, revolutions, and generations come and go. Her portrait had become a symbol of stability, tradition, and British identity. The 2-pence coin of 1996 continued this legacy. Struck in copper-plated steel, it measured exactly 25.91 millimeters in diameter and weighed 7.12 grams. On the obverse side stood the elegant portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maclauff, showing her facing right, wearing the royal diadem and a calm expression that represented authority and grace. Surrounding her were the words, Elizabeth II Digra Reg Fid Def, meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. To many, it was just tradition. To collectors, it was art etched in metal. On the reverse side, the classic Prince of Wales feathers design appeared, with 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet. The words, 2 pence, sat proudly at the bottom, along with the year 1996. It was familiar to nearly every British citizen. But what made this coin special was not just its design, it was what happened behind the scenes at the Royal Mint that year. In 1996, the Royal Mint produced millions of 2 pence coins for general circulation. However, among these standard issues, a very small number were struck using special dies, experimental planchets, or during transitional production phases. Some of these coins were never meant for public circulation. They were test strikes, trial runs, or part of limited minting batches that accidentally entered circulation due to human error. One of the rarest varieties from 1996 involves a slight misalignment in the die process, causing subtle differences in the lettering and positioning of the design. On normal coins, these details are nearly perfect. But on the rare version, the spacing, depth, and micro details appear slightly off. To the untrained eye, it looks normal. To experts, it's a hidden fingerprint of rarity. Collectors live for these tiny differences. They examine coins under powerful microscopes, looking for micro errors, unusual strike patterns, and die anomalies. And when a 1996 2 pence with these rare features surfaced at a private auction, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. The owner had no idea what they were holding. The coin had been sitting in a family tin box for nearly 20 years, mixed with old buttons, safety pins, and random spare change. It was only when a visiting friend spotted it and suggested getting it checked that its journey truly began. When the coin reached a professional grading service, experts took hours examining it. They noted the unusual die characteristics, the exceptional preservation, and the fact that it matched a known ultra-rare experimental mint batch from that year. Their conclusion left even seasoned collectors stunned. This was not just a rare coin. This was one of the rarest surviving pieces of its kind. The coin was graded in near-perfect condition, with almost flawless surfaces, minimal wear, and original mint luster still shining like the day it left the Royal Mint. Such condition is unbelievably rare for a circulation coin, especially one nearly 3 decades old. As news spread, collectors from around the world started paying attention. Offers came from London, New York, Dubai, Tokyo, and private European collections. Each collector wanted this coin not only for its value but for its story. A story of a normal working coin that defied its fate and became a treasure. Coin collecting is not just about metal. It's about history, human error, design evolution, and the emotional connection people feel to objects that witness time. That's why channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins exist. To tell these stories, to bring attention to these hidden miracles, and to show that even the smallest objects can be gateways to incredible wealth. The 1996 2 pence story is also a lesson in awareness. How many people still have old coins lying around? How many treasures are sleeping in drawers, waiting to be discovered? This is why collectors advise never to throw away old UK coins without inspection. Certain years, mint errors, and special variations can turn a coin worth 2 pence into a life-changing fortune. But what makes this particular coin even more mysterious is that its full production history remains partly classified. Some Royal Mint documents from that period have never been made public. Some believe it was part of a slipped, pattern coin batch. Others claim it was an experimental test coin accidentally mixed with normal circulation coins. The truth remains locked in the pages of mint history. And that mystery only increases its value. In the numismatic market, rarity plus condition plus story equals explosive value. And this coin had all three. It wasn't just rare because of low numbers. It was rare because of how it was created, how it survived, and how it was discovered. Collectors often compare it to winning a lottery ticket that you didn't even know you bought. You go through life, spending it without a thought, while somewhere, another one just like it becomes a crown jewel for someone else. Now imagine holding a coin you once used for vending machines, realizing it could change your entire life. That's the power of numismatics. On HD Ultra Rare Coins, we bring you more than just facts. We bring you stories that open your eyes. Stories that make you want to go back and check your old boxes again. Stories that remind you that treasure doesn't always come in gold bars or diamonds, sometimes it comes in copper. So the next time you see an old coin lying around, don't ignore it. Pick it up. Look at it. Because who knows, the next $34 million story might already be sitting in your hand. And if you want more incredible stories like this, more hidden treasures revealed, and more shocking coin values uncovered, stay connected with HD Ultra Rare Coins. Because here, every coin has a story, and some stories are worth millions.